Hey, thanks for tuning back into Through the Prism of Chrism. We're on healing truths. Yesterday, Isaiah 53:5, which says, by whose stripes we are healed. Great news, we're healed by the whipping, the stripes that Jesus bore on the cross. It may be backwards, but I want you to back up now to verse 4, and it says, surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. This powerful truth there, surely, which means emphatically, absolutely. In other words, you can bank on this. Surely he has borne our griefs. Borne means that a heavy weight was on his shoulders. Just as Aaron the high priest pressed his hand down on the head of the scapegoat and confessed the national sins of Israel over that goat. So Jesus had that cross pressed down on his shoulders, and he bore not only our sin, but our sickness. Healing for your sickness is provided for in the atonement. Notice next, surely he has borne our griefs. Now the Hebrew word there is Kholee, Kholee, which is translated most times in the Old Testament either as sickness or disease. And then he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. That is the Hebrew word Makob, which is normally translated pain. So a better version would be, surely he has borne our disease and carried our pain. Isn't that good news? Not only died for your sin, but he died for your sickness. In my book, Jehovah Care, I use a whole number of versions, but I want to just give you the Amplified. It says, he was a man of sorrows and pain, acquainted with grief and sickness. Surely he has borne our grief, that is our sickness, our weakness, and our distress. And Moffat said he knew what sickness was. Now, being virgin born, we don't believe that Jesus was sick a single day of his life. And he didn't have the curse of Adam's fall on him until he went to the cross. And then God heaped all human sickness, depravity, and sin on Jesus. Now, let me tell you something. I don't know what high blood pressure, hypertension is, but when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane, he literally sweat blood. The Greek word is thrombosis, which means blood clots. I don't know what it is, but Jesus knows what it is. I don't know about facial problems, surely not leprosy, but when they ripped the beard out of Jesus' face, he paid the penalty for your countenance, every skin problem. I don't know much about nerve problems, about psychosis and mental disturbance, but when they put the crown of thorns on Jesus' head, he paid for our minds. I don't know, folks, what it is to have nerve damage and nerve pains, palsies and twitches, but when they drove the nails through the median nerve, that's your funny bone nerve. Can you imagine how that felt? Jesus paid for every nerve problem. I don't know what it is to have hidden, unseen things like cancers going on the inside. But when the cat o' nine tails laid bare the bowels of Jesus, he paid for every internal organic disease. I don't know what it is, folks, to have a bowed back, but he carried the cross. I don't know what it is to have your joints pulled with rheumatism and arthritis, but when they dropped the cross into that hole with a thud, it jerked every joint out of its place. Jesus knows everything that we'll ever face. And listen, I've never known what the wheezing of asthma or COPD or emphysema is, but as he was hanging on with the cross, he couldn't get his breath, and he bore the penalty for our shame and our disease. And then finally, folks, he slumped his head in death, which means he paid the price for our eternal separation from God. Listen, not only our sin, but every single sickness was paid for on the cross. Jesus knows what you're going through. If I can't empathize or sympathize because I'm only human, I want you to know this. Jesus knows everything you face, and he paid for it so that you can be healed. So listen, why don't you, right where you're at right now, receive your healing. The atonement not only paid for your sin, it paid for your sickness. I'm Kris. Thanks for being with us. Hey, get this book, Jehovah Care. We'll go a lot deeper, and you can get that at my website, KrisJackson.org. Look for books. And we've got a number of commentaries and resources on healing that will be a blessing to you. God bless you. Be healed. See you tomorrow.